Doxy and you're watching Doxy Can Make. Welcome or welcome back, and this is Knitting Podcast episode number 3, which is basically a recap of everything that I have made, I have worked on and I have read in the month of March. Can you believe that we are already past 3 months of 2025? It's like, where has the time gone? I'm completely flabbergasted that it's the 1st of April. Today is Tuesday, 1st of April, when I'm filming this. We have very nice weather here in Helsinki, which is around 12-13 degrees, and I'm actually quite warm already because a lot of sun. I'm talking like a very nice sweater here. So we're going to be talking about all of those and some yarn and the pattern acquisitions and all that jazz. So let's get on with it. We're going to be starting with finished object, otherwise known as FOs. And I'm already wearing my FO, and I have been wearing it a lot. So my FO for the month of March is my Calendula sweater by Maier, Emma Knits on Instagram, that I was very lucky to be a test knitter for, and I just love it. I have a very hard time not reaching for it because I think I like a lot the neckline and the cutout, and the fit is oversized and long sleeves, but not eel oversized. It has a very nice fit, and it has a very nice fit to all of the test knitters that they have made it. So yeah, I have made mine with Laurel Knits in base MCN Sport in the color Iris. Unfortunately the base is discontinued by the dyer, and I just had enough. And thank God Laura also had extra of the yarn that she has discontinued, so she was able to dye a little bit, or one more skein of it extra. So I just used it for the neckline basically. Yeah, I super love it. It's very soft. I really like the color. I had my doubts of how this color is gonna be next to my face, but I think it quite suits me and I really like it. And you can't even say, I think, that those were totally different dye lots, because there has been some years in between as I made it. And since of course it is merino, it has a little bit of peeling here, and has a little bit of peeling because, as I said, since I finished it I have been wearing it a lot. So I need to just depeel it to bring it to its glory. I like the yarn, it's soft, it is has also a little bit of a seam. I like the yarn, the stitch definition, basically everything. So this is my Calendula. I think I used around 430 grams of yarn. That mine was sport weight yarn, 260 meters per 100 grams. And yeah, that's about it. This is the FO for March. Even though I have worked in a lot of things, I didn't manage to finish other things. Don't know, I think time went away, and reading and reading and knitting is not exactly maybe hobbies for me that they go together, because if I read a physical book, I can't knit. I'm not one of those people that they can combine it. Unfortunately, I would really love to. I think I have tried it, but it only works for stockinette. Yeah, and if I have any reader, that definitely doesn't work, even though I know that there is this Bluetooth that I could use or anything. Maybe I should invest into that. Audiobooks do work for me, so that's another way for me to knit and do both of my hobbies. But yeah, I'm not mad at it, because I know that however I gave the attention that it needed to the projects that I was making. So especially some of them that I was self-drafting, or some of them there were also test knits. It needs to give the attention, so you are giving the correct feedback to the designer, and you are making a garment that you really like. And that's the same with everything that I self-draft, and maybe I will also turn it into a pattern. You need to have some decision. So yesterday I caught myself I finished the collar like up until like the increases that I want to do in the collar of my Rugby Inspired Pullover that we're going to be talking later on, but I caught myself that I'm between of adding 2 more rows and then have two more rows of double knitting before I bind off with tubular bind off, but I couldn't decide. So for like 10 to 20, maybe even an hour, I was just like sitting with the project in my lap, not knitting and just thinking and trying to decide. I still haven't decided. I think now I have decided I will do 2 more rows and the double knitting and then I will bind off. So I think it should be totally fine. But yeah, that was kind of like the decisions that I have been making and took like longer for me maybe to finish stuff. But I'm glad with the stuff that I have finished, and this month or the past month was the Calendula sweater. But I did work on a lot of projects, so we're gonna be talking about the work in progress next. Let's start with the one that I already mentioned, my Rugby Inspired Pullover that has a lot of progress in it. I obsessively knit it from the middle of March until like the 21st, because I had this delusion that I might be able to finish it for an event that I was invited to. Yeah, no, it didn't happen, but it did help to finish the body and then to work onto the collar. So as you can see already here, I have finished one sleeve, I have finished the body. It has a split hem and it's longer in the back, so it has like both more repeats in the back that it has in the front. And I have also done the collar and the plackets in the front. And collar was the one that gave me a little bit of more of grief. Not grief, but I had like a problem. So first time, as soon as I finished the body, I was determined to make the collar, because I like making the collar maybe even before the sleeves, because it brings together the whole pattern. It didn't happen with my Calendula because I was running out of yarn. So I went to the sleeves to finish it up, and then I did the neckline. But it's also recommended to actually do first the collar or collar, ribbing, anything like the neckline in general, because then you will have a better estimation for the length of your sleeves. So keep that in mind for your next project. So I was very determined that I will be doing it. And I did. So I picked up and I did the plackets here, which right now I might not be very satisfied with, because yeah, they are of course unblocked, so they roll up a lot. And so I was thinking that maybe I will pick up stitches like from the inside and knit on the width and then just put it like together like that, so to make it more sturdy. Unfortunately, I can't take it apart as I wanted, because the collar and the plackets are connected. And right now I'm very satisfied with the collar. I have added a very nice detail, so I did very nice detail according to me. I did icord bind off, and then on top of the bind off I picked up, which I think it gives like a very nice finish. In that I have also done it for my Milo. So now this is how the collar should be sitting now. I originally have made it in stockinette, but I didn't like it. And the first time that I made it, I went against my instinct and I made it too big, and it was huge. It was like a comedy, like when I tried it on, and I was like so frustrated. So that's why I started the sleeves. I was like, I will put you in the shame corner for now, and I'm gonna do the sleeves. So as soon as I finished the sleeve, then I went back to the collar. I took it apart, picked up stitches, and did it in 1x1 ribbing, which I think fits way better to the whole project. Yeah, and as you can already see, I have added white. That was the original plan from the beginning, to add a little bit like of white on the ribs. My ribbing on the body is 2x2, and then the sleeve, I think the only thing that I would have done better into the sleeve is to add, to make it a little bit more roomy. Not that it is fitted or anything, but I am trusting the process and blocking, so I think it should be good. And with blocking, I think it should give out a little bit and give out of like this stiffness. And on the sleeve, I did like around 6 centimeters of ribbing with 1x1 ribbing, and I did like a double knitting in the end with some tubular cast off, and I really like the detail. I think all in all it's turning out to be exactly as I was hoping for, exactly as I was envisioning. Only changes that I might have made was a little bit like on the calculation, like on the oversized of it. Maybe I would have gone even more, but it's not. Let's see what the blocking has to say. Maybe it's just like my mind playing tricks on me. I'm thinking about steaming those to see how they sit, and then maybe add. What do you think? Let me know, because I'm really conflicted, and this kind of like the decisions that I'm just like staring onto the anything and thinking about what should I do, and then I just actually lose knitting time because I'm just so deep into my thoughts that I stare like this, thinking inside, and my mind's like working overtime as usual, and then I'm just not doing anything. I'm just so glad this is so close to be finished. I'm so excited. I hope the second sleeve that will fly by, because I know exactly how many rows I need to make, so I think it will be like motivating, and it's not a lot of stitches as well. Because right now we're gonna be having a good weather up until Thursday, but then the temperature drops, so I really hope I have this ready by the weekend so I can wear it a little bit and maybe get like some wear out of it in April, and until we have to put them away. Yes, that. Oh, I think, yeah, the only changes might have been like on the armpits and to the width, but I think with blocking would be fine. I'm gonna be finishing up after I'm done filming. I'm gonna finish up the collar finally, and maybe then I will put my iron to steam those and decide about them as I start the second sleeve. But yeah, this is all for my Rugby Inspired Pullover. One more thing that I have to say is that I panicked and I bought more yarn, and now that I'm very close to the finish, I realized that I might not be using that extra yarn. So I think I have 3 extra of both colors, of both poppy blue and Bordeaux. So this is the Bordeaux, and this is the poppy blue, and this is cream in Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino. So I bought both of Bordeaux and poppy extra because I was in the body, I think, and I was looking at my yarn and I was like, oh, I don't have enough, and especially didn't have enough from the poppy blue. But then I went ahead and I bought more of the Bordeaux, so I might have like 2 or 3 extra for each color. Let's see. Let's see how it goes. But my estimation for the white was good. I bought 2 skeins, and I think I've used around 1.5 already, or less, one ball and 30 grams from 25 grams from the other. So good estimation on the white. That's it. Rugby pullover, almost missing 1 sleeve and almost done. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. My next one, it is my Daphnis cardigan by Emma Maier. Emma knits once again. I'm part of the test knitting group, and I have I would like to say, but Emma can say like better, that is a little bit of like Japanese inspired, because it has like this it overlaps the cardigan, and it has I-cord ties, super cute. I will pick a picture, you could see. I'm right now on like saving for the sleeves, and I really like the fabric that it gets created with these 2 colors. I think we did because I picked it together with Emma, a very nice job with her. I did have my doubts about the knitting. knitting through the back of the loop as an increase on the beginning of the round, but now that I'm looking at it, it creates a very nice edge that is straight and it doesn't roll up as it does like on stockinette. So I got behind it very fast. I trusted Emma's vision and I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. And I was like, yeah, okay, this is going very well. So this is the front, like in there, that we increase, and here's the sleeve, like a little bit, and of course I'm in the middle of the round because that is me. And the yarn, don't look at it now, it's a little bit messy because I have been knitting like with it. The yarn that I'm using was kindly sponsored for this test knit by Isager Yarn, and it is Alpaca 2 and 301 in color 17 and in color strawberry. And I 1000% recommend this to go bold with your marling, because I think with mine I'm very, very satisfied. I think it's gonna be a very nice cardigan to have during April and May, because 301, if I'm not mistaken, is a blend of cotton, linen and something else that it skips my mind. I will put it on the screen. And this is alpaca, so it's a very nice combination because it has like the breathability in between, so it's not like this heavy, and of course it is more of a sport, something like that. Like I'm knitting mine in 3.75 millimeters. That's what I get gates for. Originally it was with 4. So I think it's going to be a great cardigan for summer evenings in the Nordics. So I'm looking forward to knit more and make more progress as soon as I'm finishing up with this, but I'm knitting those in parallel because I'm equally excited for both. But yeah, I will be giving more my attention into that one as soon as I'm even closer to finishing my rugby. So that was the Daphnis, and I shouldn't have casted on anything new. Alas, I did. I did because I couldn't resist. I'm one of those people that it's actually a crochet piece. I also know how to crochet, and I make like I enjoy it a lot, and especially like during the summer months, I find myself crocheting more then. But it doesn't mean that I haven't made like winter projects of crochet. So this is going to be a granny stitch skirt. The pattern is from the newest issue of Novita for summer 2025, and one of the reasons why I picked it up was basically this skirt and this whole set as it is. In this issue, Novita has once again collaborated with Rolf Ekroth to create a collection, as they have done in the autumn, winter. I will put some pictures because I'm also obsessed with that. Like, one of the sweater hasn't left my mind ever. So once I saw this on Instagram, for Novita's Instagram, I was done for. I was obsessed. I sent to my friend Yanu, we both obsessed over it, and then I told her like, hey, let's go get the magazine, and we were meeting either ways, so we went and bought the magazine. And I'm obsessed with the set as it is. I will be making this as well, but I'm gonna be making it into a very pastel, nice pink that I have in my stash. Of course pink, it is me we're talking about, but you can also see it here in white. And obsessed. Yellow, I had it in my stash, so I had 3 of Dorps Paris in color 19. That was that I had it in my stash since last summer, I think. So I was like, I'm gonna start it with this, because the yarn that is being used in the origin on the pattern, it is Novita Aura, which is 50 grams, 80 meters, and Dorps Paris is 50 grams, 75 meters. And I want to use something from my stash, which of course was not enough, and I have to go and buy more, which beat the purpose. And we're going to be talking about it into the acquisition part of the podcast. But yeah, I had to taught myself how to crochet in Finnish with Finnish knitting vocabulary. It was not that hard, and I learned like a little bit like on the decreases I had to think a little bit, and I have also adjusted my gauge with my yarn because I'm not exactly hitting the gauge, but it is, I think it's going to be fine, or I will make it work no matter what, because I'm obsessed, because I have already thought this skirt with the Rugby Inspired Pullover, like winning combination of colors. I really love, like, I have color obsessions like from time. Right now it's all the tones of red and all the tones of blues together, and then I have these light yellows, and then of course like pink, it's my forever thing, so it doesn't go away. So it is what it is. And I have been I have been crocheting this. It's quite mindful. The only problem that I have with my crochet is that I can't look away from the crochet. I need to look down and make it. Whereas in knitting, I can look on the TV, I can talk with somebody else. Here I can still talk because the granny stitches, I have done it a lot more times, but I just can't look to the person or to the TV or anything else. But it is very mindful, and my mom also liked it. And she said like, oh, are you gonna teach me, are you gonna show me how to make it when you come? And I was like, yeah, definitely mom, I can do that. So hopefully we are gonna be crafting together in Greece when I go for Easter. Yeah, and we have one more whip, which is not yet a whip, but is going to be very, very soon. My last whip, which I haven't exactly like started, it's not yet a whip, but it's going to be. I have been swatching once again, and it is something that I don't necessarily enjoy, but I know that it is very important, especially if I'm calculating something that I make for myself. This, it was also part of my acquisitions for for March 2025. And I have been obsessed also with navy. Out of nowhere, I realized somewhere in February, or no, either in January or February, that I don't own basically no knits that they are in some basic colors like white or black or brown, grey, like something like this. I have mostly things in colors, which I love, and it's something that I wear a lot, but once in a while it's nice when you have like a statement piece, bottom piece, and then you just want to put something more quiet on the top. And I did find the perfect navy for me. There's a lot of lovely navies around. This one is from Fonty Ambiance, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, or Ambiance, or however. It is a French company. It is 100% wool. It is super wash. It is 50 grams and 120 meters, and it's a good thing that I actually swatched, because I used 4mm needles. I really love the fabric that it creates. It's very dense without being stiff. It still have like movement, but I really like the fabric that it creates, and the stitch definition, it's super cool. I knitted with 4mm. I knitted my my swatch with 4mm needles, and it's not, I think I got like 20 or 21 stitches for 10 centimeters and 32 rows for 10, whereas in the label it says 24 stitches give you 10 centimeters wide and 30 rows give you height of 10 centimeters. So good thing that I swatch. I have made a very tiny start for this. I have already cast it on with the crochet cast on, because I want to start already with the stockinette part. I'm planning it to be, I never talked about that, I'm planning to make raglan turtleneck sweater, oversized, with some nice details. So something very simple, something that I don't have. I know that there's a million projects out that they might look very similar to what I want to make, so I just like experimenting with like the designing part and putting myself through, because it helps like with my creativity. And as much as I do it more of like designing and calculating, it comes like more natural with its time, and this is why. But this is going to be quite a special project, so I cast it on with that, and I'm gonna be starting already from the raglan part, and I'm gonna be skipping the neck. I'm gonna unravel this later on, put up the stitches, and make like maybe do a double knitting neckline around, and then I will do like a very luscious turtleneck that I'm envisioning already in my head. But this is going to be a very special project because I'm going to be using Knittable. And for those of you that don't know Knittable, it is Icelandic startup company and app, founded I think from Nana, and I had the chance to meet both Nana and Lotta, who's doing marketing for Knittable, back in November, and they were very kind of allowing us, both me and my friend Janu, to have like access to their platform, and you're able to, they have knitting tools for calculating the gauge that you have gotten with the yarn that you want, to calculate it into a pattern, or you can also design your own sweater according to your own gauge, and you can make patterns already with everything, all the calculations done for mittens, beanies, socks, and sweaters. I have already put all the details that I want to. It gives you some idea on the different details that you are able to choose. So if you want like a folded neckline, or if you want a 1x1 ribbing on 2x2, how many stitches you're gonna have on the raglan part, and so on, at least for the sweater. So I'm gonna be using the skeleton, like this pattern, as my skeleton with all the calculations, and I'm gonna adjust it to make some changes for better fit for raglans. But I just love that all the calculations for how many short rows I have to do, how many stitches it has, how long I should knit, everything that I usually just come up with as I'm knitting, and it's not very good, not a good practice, I would say. It's already calculated for me, so I don't have to worry. I just need to tweak a little bit the some changes that I want like to make, and add my own touch into it. So I know that some people that they were thinking, as we were discussing with both Nana and Lotta, they were thinking that, oh, is this tool is going to replace designers? No, it's not going to be. It just helps you, at least in my opinion, how I see it, it just helps you with a calculation, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time and calculate, and it just gives you the time to just like focus on the knitting, on the fun part, like on casting on after you have swatched. Or if you haven't, it doesn't matter, any the way that you can. So I really like their mission is like to unleash your creativity and just like knit your desires. So I'm just collaborating with them for the pattern layout for my Milo cardigan. They were very kind like to offer that, and I'm very excited to start it. I have already made like a tiny start, and I'm gonna be filming a project vlog for that, where I will also be showing to you in detail how the platform is and everything. So yeah, keep an eye out for that when it's going to be happening, somewhere maybe in May. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, this is the part, like I call it my knittable sweater right now. I guess it needs to have like a better name, but this is my knittable sweater, and I just can't wait to get started. And that would be all for WIPs, works in progress. I haven't made any progress on the socks that I had for my boyfriend. I'm so sorry, Teemu. But I want to finish some of the stuff first, like bigger project like sweaters, and then I will just focus. I think it's just like a weekend time project because it's the second sock. I've already done the cuff, and it's just like, yeah, and it's a vanilla sock, just stocking it all around. But this is everything that I have made, and we're gonna be going towards the acquisitions that this time around I both have yarn acquisitions and books, knitting books acquisitions.
That's my blocking methods. I steamed it and then I put something like on top to keep it in place. I think it's working quite fine. I will move now this to go there. Ta-da!
Okay, I'm gonna be starting with the Novita magazine that I have bought, as I said, like this with my own money. And apart from Victor's, why I say Victor? Apart from Rolf's collection, they also had like some, you can see a little bit here, some other lovely designs. But I'm just obsessed with Rolf's collection. The styling and everything is completely like very much me. Another favorite of mine is this, which is once again, it's a polo, and it's called Paradisi pullover, which is basically mean paradise in Finnish, and this is knitted. Super love it. But then they also have this super cool, which I don't know if I will have any way of wearing it, not way, but any use of like of wearing it, which is what? They say it's a hat. So it is like a granny stitch like hat, but you get here like at the, oof, I super love this how it was. So all of the Rolf's patterns are super cool, but the coolest I think I also find this one, that again it's a more polo t-shirt vibe, but as you can see here it has this collar, but incorporated in on top of the collar there is this little scarf. I was like, oh my god, genius, love it. And if you have watched me and both on Instagram and on my YouTube, you know that I love collars and stuff like that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is Rolf himself. It's another part of his work, and this is my public application to become his friend, their friend, and or at least to go to their studio and have a look around and have a talk about the creativity and what inspires the person, because I think we need to be friends. And I hope you don't find it creepy. I love everything that you do. And they have done like a winter collection that I was also obsessed with. Oh, yeah. So that was that. This is the summer issue for 2025. I know it came a little bit early. And I'm gonna continue on with books actually. On the 21st of March, that's what I was hoping to get this done for, but of course it was not. I got the opportunity to be invited to the book launch party of Paula's Narkiniemi book, Everyday Needs, Essentials, Easy Wardrobe Essentials. And it was such a lovely time. I'm gonna be putting some, either before or after, let's see, some clips from there. But I wanted to talk about some of my favorites. So we were given this as part of being, as part of the book launch. So thank you so much, Paula and Laine, which is the publishing house. And I want to talk about my favorite patterns, because the ones that I'm mostly excited about and I would really love to knit, and I think I'm gonna be casting on at some point. So first one is the waterfalls dress. Which has like an open back and like lovely detail on the top. This is the back, which I super like, and you can adjust the length. I was thinking that I'm gonna make it a little bit above the knee, and I think I already have some super lovely pink yarn, surprise surprise, and yeah, the photography is super great in this book as well. I also love this jacket, and Paula, where can I get this jacket, or where did you find it? I love it, please. I super loved it. I need to have it. Next one, I also love the Jolene. And if you noticed, the titles of the patterns, or like the name of the patterns, are songs from female artists. So this is Jolene, and I really like this detail that you get to like tie it up and give like another shape into it. And together with Jolene, okay, style, so apart from the name, that is Style from Taylor Swift. Hi Taylor. I super love this scarf, and I was very glad that I was invited into the sample, or like into the book lounge, because I get to see the samples. It was in Sunday Knitting Club, and I think some of the samples are still there, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not quite sure, so you can check it out. I just noticed, even though I have seen this scarf a lot, like all over Instagram, through Laine, through Paula's Instagram and everything, I didn't notice that all the different blocks of color had a different, how do you call it, had a different texture. And I was like, oh, that's so cool, because then you get like to have something to look forward to apart from the colors, and basically you need it's like for a specific amount. Super cool. I really like it, and might be something that I'm gonna make it in autumn. And last but not definitely least, I loved the fast car shorts. I found it quite unique. It's this short because it has pockets. I love pockets, like we need more things that has pockets. And I think the skirt that she designed as well for this book also has pockets, but I'm not quite sure. But this is lovely. It might be something that I will be making on, for this summer, for this summer. So I love it. I love like the length. I love that it has like this short, like this vibe, and this and the pockets. So yeah. And this one is called Luca, and it's also, I love like the turtleneck. I'm very much into turtlenecks right now, and it's not even the time for them anymore, but I'm into them, so we roll with it. And we were also kindly given from Laine the weekly planner built from the Knitter's Year weekly planner that Laine did for this year for the first time. It has all the 12 months and has more than 100 crafting events around the world, and also useful tips for crafters, and it is in 3 languages, English, Finnish and Swedish, and has a quite like nice paper as well, and it has a very nice feel. I really like the color and the feel of the notebook. So yeah, and last but not least, we were given also the spring issue of Laine, and I know that a lot of people get the magazine mostly for the patterns because that's where the focus is, but I have to say that please also pay attention into their recipes, because they are super super nice. From the winter, I think it was the winter, either winter or autumn, I think it was winter, I have made the Swedish chocolate cake that I had. Oh, It was to die for, so tasty. The recipe was exactly as it was said, and in this one you have like cardamom filled cardamom buns and groppino, which is like a lemon sherbet, something like a drinkies thing. But something that I think that my boyfriend is going to be very much excited about is the lemon ricotta ravioli. We love pasta and we love cheese. So this is completely up for us. So it might be one of those recipes that I will be trying next. Talking about favorite patterns, one of them is the Flecks of Sunshine by Heidi Kastner. And I love it because it combines knitting and crochet. Genius, and also has like a polo thing. Next was from Paula Pereira, the Bamboozle, and I discovered that it has this like texture, like these columns, and it says here that the vertical stripes are created by a column of stitches where one strand stays in front while the other is used for the background fabric. So it's not, I thought my assumption was that that was see-through, but it's not see-through at all, and I'm just amazed. It is raglan, but she has made like for a better fit, a different increase ratio for the body and the sleeves. So, and the long sleeves have a slight bell shape. So I'm very excited. This bumped on top of my list. And last but not least, there was one more that I really liked. Yes, it was Valo from, there it is, from Rui Mamuro. Valo in Finnish means light, and it's this very cool looking vest. You can have both an I-cord and a double knitting belt, and I really like it. And I know that Ida from Neula Iitani, if I'm not mistaken, she's making it in a beautiful baby blue. Yeah, I think it's super cool. But thank you so much, Laine, for those, and Paula for the invitation, and Sunday Knitting Club for hosting us. They also gave us a measuring tape. This is my own that I have bought with my own money, but I also got one in blue, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and it looks lovely. Yeah, yarn now. I have already prolonged that, and I said that I had to buy extra to finish the skirt, to have enough for the skirt, so I bought 8 more skeins of Dorps Paris, got them from Lamb & Co. in color 19 to finish up the skirt, and I'm hoping that's going to be enough, otherwise I will have to go back and get more. But I can't really get over how well this would look with, like, imagine the skirt and rugby pullover on top. Oh, I think to die for. Yeah. And in the beginning of March, I have, as I was visiting Gennu that works at Sunday Knitting Club, I managed to get myself, I snatched myself a Fonty Ambiance yarn, which is 80% Angora of France and 20% wool, 25 grams or 108 meters. And they had a lot of samples in the store for Sophie scarves, so I got to do myself a Sophie scarf, and again, like, the color inspiration was that. And I love this kind of yellow, but I don't think it looks super nice on me, maybe on a bigger surface, so that's why I said like a smaller scarf would be nice. And then it was another time that I was just like strolling, and I found my way to the yarn shop once again, and my sister had texted me and said like, I also want those scarves that you make, and I was like, what scarves? Is it the Isla scarf from Beach Bush that you have sent me and I super love? Is it a simple garter one that I have, or the Lanes of Heart? Like, what kind of scarf? Like, I have been wearing a lot like smaller scarf, and then I was like, or do you want the one from Petite and like the Sophie? And then I showed her all of them. It's like, and then she was like, no, that one. It was like the one from the Petite. And I was like, okay, like, do you want to make it like an Angora? And I went again to Sunday Knitting Club. I took pictures and I sent her like the different samples that they had there. So I picked up these the pink and the red, and I'm gonna be making, since I have three, which all three together looks super nice. They're like kind of an ice cream. I'm gonna be making one for each one of us, so for myself, my mom and my sister, and they can pick whichever color they want, because I will be wearing whichever of those, and I can always go back and get more if need to, to make myself in another color. So yeah, and I want to make at least two of them before I leave for Greece for Easter, and then make one as I'm there for Easter. So this is the yarn acquisitions, and last but not least, I have already said I bought this during March. I bought a sweater quantity, so I have like 10 balls of this, which is around 1,200 meters, and I hope it's going to be enough for what I want to make for the Knittable turtleneck sweater. And I wanted to sew, and I have one more pattern to sew. What I made this in March. I wanted to track my yarn intake and outtake, and also the projects that I'd be starting, to have like a timeline of things. So I did that in my March bullet journal, and I also had it in my April. Just in April I put it like a little bit extra space on the project. So it's very simple. I have like the date and yarn that I bought, like yarn that came in, it's a plus, and yarn that comes out, it's a minus, and then I have like the grams here. I made it a little bit better, and here I have like the project name, when I started, when I finished it, what kind of yarn, and if my calculations are correct, for March, around 1,225 grams of yarn came in, so 1.25 kilos came inside my house, but for around 400 to 450 went out, so that's around less than 800 grams still. Whew. Not bad, but could be better. I'm trying very hard to knit from my stash, and firstly look at my stash and then buy, but you know, yarn is kind of like candy for knitters. You see it, you buy it. For crafters in general. So yeah, and look at this cute sticker they have from there. Yeah, and that's about it for yarn acquisitions. I still have one pattern I bought without exactly like I thought, because I really like this format that Petit has on patterns that you can buy from yarn shop. I got this from Snora, and it's the key sweater by Petit Knit, and I really like the design of that and the details that it has. And I think that I might have leftover yarns from Seven Brothers that I can make this with, and it has like a little bit of color work, but it's mostly like stockinette, but since it has like this something, you are looking forward into making it. So I'm quite excited making this. I'm not quite sure of when, but I really like this kind of format because it's so portable. You don't have to look at your phone, you can write on them, and you don't have to print them. They come ready-made, and apparently this one might have, like, it has also an errata that came in that way. But yeah, and it has like here the chart, so I think it's quite nice, this format, and that was mainly the reason that I bought it, because I really like the pattern in general, and then I like the format, and there we go. So now we can go over to Book Talk, where I talk about all the books that I have read in March. As you can see, this is Doxy from the future, like next day, because I was running out of light and I'm running out of battery. So I decided to film it on another day, the next day. So today, Wednesday, 2nd of April, and this is going to be the Book Talk part of the podcast, where I talk about can also talk about it in the comments, I guess, where I talk about all the books that I have read in the month of March. And this time around I have managed to read 9 books, which I was completely surprised. It didn't look like I'm gonna manage like to finish, but I did push like a little bit on the weekend, not to manage to read 9 books, but because the books that I was reading, they were so good, and especially the last book. This month I had 2 books that they were 5-star read, and I'm so happy for it because they were so different and very different on their domains, but I really like them. Of course, like in fiction, I mostly read fiction, and if you already don't know, I'm a big sucker for sports romances, and especially ice hockey romances, and I'm on a humble quest of reading as many as I can and I can find ice hockey romances. So if you have anything to suggest, please go ahead, I will be more than happy, and some of them you will find them here in the month of March. So okay, so I also have this, I do this spread for my in my bullet journal for my marks for my marching books. So the first one that I actually finished, it is the Charlie Method by Elle, which is the 3rd series in the Campus Diary series. If I'm not, it's the 3rd book of the Campus Diaries. Yes, I'm correct. And Elle was the author that actually got me into loving ice hockey romances. So by default, I like it. And I really like the story of Charlie. It is the story of Charlie, Will and Beckett. We have already met them, not Charlie, but Will and Beckett, both of them on the first 2 books, and a little bit more in the Dixon Rule. And Charlie, I think she was mentioned, but it was kind of like of an Easter egg in the Dixon Rules. I didn't catch it for one, but yeah. So it is, yeah. Like so, Charlotte or Charlie is actually living like 2 lives, like being like a very STEM girl, sorority, trying to follow like all the rules, but in reality she's far from it. She's more of a daredevil, like racing cars and everything. And Will and Beckett, they have formed like a friendship, even though they were from rivaling teams, but then they merged already in the first book into one. They became friends, and they were even hiding it from the rest of the team because the 2 teams that they were merging, they had a huge rivalry in between. So yeah, and they are quite funny, and apart from being friends, they have also discovered that they want to share some other things together, and that's where Charlie comes along. She finds them like she finds them on one of the apps, and she managed to talk to both of them. I mean, Will and Beckett had a common account. So this is a female, like sports romance, male, female, male main character, which I think it is my first one. And it was quite long, I have to say, but it did have like a build-up. And also Charlie is of is adopted and is from either Korean or Japanese descent. I think Korean, but I'm not quite sure. I don't quite remember. So yeah, it was a little bit quite long at points. So it's like 515 pages or something like that, which is wow. And mostly this is like a little bit unbroken. You can see it here because I also read it. I also bought it as an ebook. Because that's what I do. But what I love in my version, I have the Piatkus edition. They had these from the characters, so you could see. I think this is Beckett and this is Will and Charlie in the middle, And this is, and also handwritten note from Elle Kennedy, dear reader. So what's better than one hot hockey player who wants to rock your world? How about two? I hope you're ready for Will and Beckett. Charlie Sewer is. Love, Elle Kennedy. Well, we were, and I think this was the last book of the campus diaries. And I'm a little bit sad, but what Elle said that she's waiting for some characters to mature enough, so she's going to continue on that road, and I'm very happy because in that one we also had Blake, and Blake as a freshman, that was, and Charlie was Blake was Charlie's little in the sorority, so kind of like mentor kind of a thing. Yeah, Blake is John Logan's daughter. John Logan's book was of the off-campus series, the second book, The Mistake. And it's just lovely, and we also get to have like characters from the past like emerge in the form of the dad chat, which is completely hilarious, with Garrett and John, Tucker and Logan and Dean, who is my favorite, Dean De Laurentiis, the Deal, and Colin as well, Hunter. So basically everybody's here apart from Michael Hollis, who comes back into this book as assistant coach, and he's just hilarious, and he really holds it a grudge against these guys because they're not letting him into the dad chat. So yeah, it was quite fun. I enjoyed it as far as sport romances goes. Next one, we had a little bit of a crossover between like holding the, next one was the holding the reins by Paisley Hope. I read it as an ebook on my Kobo, and it is a mix of both sport romances and cowboy romances. And I have Lila Sage, the author of Done and Dusted, to blame for my love of cowboy romances, and then after that Elsie Silver as well. So it's a little bit of a in-between of both. Small town, Dorps is like a small town, kind of forced proximity, brother's best friend. She had a crush on him for forever, so the female main character, whose name was Cecilia, everybody called her Sissy, and Nash is the brother's best friend that she had a crush since forever, since her teen years, but she was a little bit younger and they were a little bit older, so she was not paying attention, but she decided to come back into her small town after her breakup from her fiance, that she found that he was cheating on her. And she just wants to rebuild her life and go back to her career, even because she was not working while she was with her fiance. Turns out that this NHL player, full-time NHL player, part-time cowboy, is also backrolling a lot of the things in this small hometown, such as the ring. And they need the help in the ring, so they come together, and it's very clear, I think, from the beginning that he sees her differently once she turns up in the town, all grown up and everything. So I really like it, and I really wanted to read because this is the first part of the series. The series is called Silver Lines, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a second book, and I would really want to read it. Next. And then we have A Demon's Guide to Wing a Witch by Sarah Hawley, which was my currently reading on my knitting podcast number 2. And we have Caladia and Astaroth. This is the second book of the series. And we left them in the end of the book, that is kind of like brought together to understand, not brought together, but brought more into character. We have Caladia actually kicking Astaroth's ass literally like sends him to another part of the world as a witch. And Astaroth is Astaroth of the 9, so he has like he's a demon holding like one of the 9 positions in the demon plane, and he has made a wager with another demon that they had a very strong rivalry from the beginning, and it was from his mentee's side that Astaroth lost the bet. And unfortunately, not only he is kicked out of the demon plane, but he's kicked out with an amnesia. And Calendula finds him being beat up by the other, by his rival, and kind of like saves him because he doesn't know. So it's kind of like enemies to lovers trope, and also misunderstood characters that they have much more depth that they are wanting to know, just putting like a facade for the world, or because they have like external pressures and things to uphold. And I don't know how Sarah Holly does it, but in the beginning it goes not slow, but it doesn't grasp me immediately, but after maybe the first 80 to 100 pages, I'm completely sold and I just want like to finish it. So I'm really looking forward of reading A Werewolf's Guide on Seducing a Vampire, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that was the one. And I read the one that was my loan from library, so that's why a lot of my books actually were a loan from the library, and that's why I don't like have them physically to show them here. But next we have The Game Changer, another sports romance, and this time ice hockey as well. Well, all the times was ice hockey so far. By Lana Ferguson. And it's between like Delilah and Ian, and or he calls her Leela, and it's again brother's best friend. So she is off limits and he's off limits. And they have basically grew up together. Ian's dad owns the team that he is returning to after a self-imposed trade to Canada to play hockey there because of some things that happened that he cannot exactly explain, but they are getting explained into the book. So he has this reputation of a bad guy, and he has all this drama following him. And Lila is a chef, and mostly like a pastry chef, if I'm not mistaken. That she has what was a successful program on TV, but numbers are going a little bit down. So they think like, what if you are featured into her TV program? So they get along. They come together through that, but she also had a crush on him for the longest time, and it's kind of I think discovered like quite early on, because he also sees her quite differently once he sees like a grown-up version of her. So yeah, quite similar thing. I started as a loan from the library, but I had to buy the ebook because I wanted to finish it because my time ran out. It was fine. Like I call these books like palette cleansers, that you don't have like a lot of thoughts. It was nice. I had a nice time reading it, but for example, I had a better time reading like Holding the Reins or The Charlie Method and stuff like that. So yeah, nothing against it. It was just like nice palette cleanser, like to go along. Next is my favorite, one of my 5-star reads. It is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I found it in the library. I have also made a post about it on Instagram because I absolutely love it. I have seen it all over Instagram, all over TikTok, and I was so much looking forward into reading it. And I randomly found it in the library, and I just got in and started reading it, and it didn't disappoint at all. It is quite different, and I really like it because it has, if you see me looking here, I actually have some notes. That's why I don't want to miss everything. So the Dorps is disability rep, unexpected pregnancy, and then friends to lovers. So Win, or Winifred, and Bo, Robert, they are they have a one-night stand into Win's best friend Halloween party. And they hit it right off because both of them found themselves bonding through their disability, but not because of the disability, because both of them just saw the other person as a normal person, as they should be, and not like pitying like each other because Win has like a disformed like a hand, or like a hand that was not properly developed, and unfortunately Bo has a prosthetics, a leg prosthetic, or fortunately, and yeah, and they hit it off. They have one night stand, and 6 to 8 weeks later, Win finds out that she is pregnant. Even though they had like an amazing time at that time in their one night stand, something like kept them like apart, mostly like in their minds. They didn't know like how to handle it. Win liked him a lot, but since he just up and left once it was over, she was like, okay, that was it for him. I'm not something more for him, which was like far away. But Bo is such a great person. I have to say that he steps up into the parent role as it should, and they moving together. Like she moves in with him, and from there on, their friendship going to lovers begins. I really like their banter, like top notch. I really like how the disability rep was presented. It was so smooth, so great, as it's supposed to be. And I also liked that it had a lot of representation also for different loving families, such as homosexual couple, and a lot of representation also for other cultures and everything, since Bo is half French, and also very nicely spoken about the loss of a parent. So yeah, I don't know, I just absolutely love it. It was like so endearing, I couldn't put it down. I didn't want it to end. I was like, give me more of both of them. I think there is one Out of the Woods, if I'm not mistaken. I think Out of the Woods is first, and then it's Out on a Limb, which deals with Win's best friend and her husband, Caleb. So yeah, and what I absolutely loved on that, and I mentioned also in my Instagram post, is that they mention, like they talk about the baby that they're going to have with the they them pronoun, so they're not assuming, and they're trying to choose like a name that can work for both identities. And it's something that I have been picking up doing also when I'm talking to friends that they are having babies, because I don't know, it feels right to me. I don't want to assume like the identity, and I don't want to put any pressure into the kid to choose one or the other, or to feel obliged to be the gender that they were born with. So once I saw it, like once I read of them speaking in they them for the baby, I was like, my people. So yeah, can you tell that I absolutely love it? That was my first 5-star read for March. And I'm going to be moving on to a book that is called Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. It is a book that I saw a lot on TikTok, and that was why I put it on my TBR list, to be read list. But then I couldn't find it nowhere like to buy it as a book. And I decided that okay, then maybe my library would have it, and they did. And I placed like a hold and came available. I'm very glad that I got it from the library as a loan, because I enjoyed it. It was fine like to read. I can understand why people like love it. But it was not my favorite. It was fine. I think I put it like around 3.5 stars or something like that. It is a sports romance, or at least a lot of the characters play football, college football. And we have Ari, that is a twin, together with Mason. Mason had a twin brother, that has best friends, and one of those best friends, Chase, is the guy that Ari had a crush on since the moment he moved into their neighborhood. And all of those people's friends are all of their families are friends, and they even own like property together, which they pass on to them since they are going off to college. They will be going to this, all of them in the same college. For the guys, they're going to be playing. They have scholarship for football, and I think plans to get drafted in the NFL. And then you have in one of those times that they are in their summer house where the book like starts. Ari meets Noah, and Noah is the captain of the football team that the guys are going to be playing later on. And Noah completely like he is not in love, but he has a connection directly with Ari from the beginning. Ari has a crush on Chase, and she had for forever, so she is caught in between, like in that of like flirting but letting go of him, and what will happen. Something happened between Ari and Chase that I'm not gonna say because I think it's kind of like a spoiler. They go off to college. She is avoiding everybody, but goes to the first football game because it is very important for all of her close-knit friends, and basically that they are family. But after that she starts hanging out with Noah, and they slowly hit it along, I have to say. Then things happen, and yeah, it's everything. But the thing that I don't like is, what I didn't like was that Ari had like a crush on this guy forever, and this guy is giving completely mixed signals. We're not sure if he also likes her from the beginning, or he's afraid that he's gonna lose his best friend, and stuff like that, like of the dynamic that the group is going to be torn apart if these two end up together. And he only shows his true feelings once Noah gets into the picture, and I was like, you guy, you have no right. So for me, Chase had all the red flags in the world, and Noah had a lot of the green flags. He's a very green flag guy. I'm glad that I didn't have to buy it, and I had the opportunity to read it through my library. I'm not saying not to read it, maybe like we enjoyed it even more. I have read quite of this trope a lot, so it was not exactly like my absolutely favorite. But do I have also the second book of the series that I got it from the library? Yes, I do, and the reason is that since I have access to it through the library, I was like, yeah, why not? I want to read, because it's going to be Mason stories with some other side characters. So yeah. My next book, though, it's one that I super love, very close to a 5-star, but not quite. I think I didn't put it like a 5-star only for the reason because I wanted more. Yeah, I really love it. It is the Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren, which is a duo of two friends writing together, co-authoring books. It was another library loan, and it has to do with Jess or Jessica, Davies, that is a single mom raising her lovely daughter Juno together with her grandparents. Jess also comes from a difficult upbringing, since he didn't have exactly like a parental figure. Like her mom was more interested into drug abuse and actually like raising a kid, and after Jess was 6 years old, he actually gave the custody over to her grandparents. And now Jessica herself is also raising her own daughter after an unexpected pregnancy, together with her grandparents, who are absolutely lovely and great characters. Jess also has a best friend that they are writing, Felicity, that they are writing together. Not exactly writing, because Jess is a freelance statistician, that she has her own like company of sort, consulting and doing statistics and analysis for other companies. And Felicity is a romance author writer. So they meet into a cafe, both of them do their work. And there is this one guy that comes every day at the same time, with a very closed off like attire, doesn't smile, doesn't say thank you, anything, just like orders his coffee, takes his coffee and just leaves. They have nicknamed him Americano because that's what he orders. At some point, one of the owners of the cafe, or one of the workers of the cafe, David, tells them that yeah, this guy, he's developing an app, like a dating app, based on something, and then they stopped him the next day. They said like, are you really developing a dating app? It's like, yes, not exactly. It is a genetically. So they took like a wordplay of genetically but they have the A capital, so it's genetic ally. So Genetic Ally is indeed a dating app that, but it brings connection with the people according to their DNA matches. So how well, according to some genomes that they have identified, that they are compatible to people, and they're connected to how do you call it? Connected to attraction and some other facts that I don't exactly remember right now. But yeah, they are making matches, and he drops them his card, and said like, yeah, if you want to give samples, like please, like come ahead. And then Felicity, after he leaves, he was like, okay, let's go, and they go. Felicity is a little bit of the more crazy part of the friendship that I super love. And they go. He's completely shocked that they came in the same day. He was not expecting that at all. They take the tests, and after a while, when they get the results, and turns out that Jess is 98% compatible with River, who is Americano, and also one of the guy that has the science behind the whole app. And they decide to give it a go, both because the app is going to go public, and they thought partners from the firm thought that it will be a nice part of publicity, and because they are curious. Jess is not exactly convinced of the science and how exactly they can be sure and everything, and River has trust in the science because he developed it. But still tries to ensures and accommodates Jessica. A lot of things happened, or not a lot of things, things happen, and they progress, and slowly they melt into each other, and their match is still it is strong, and he meets her daughter, and they're together, and Jess is very apprehensive of dating in general, because she doesn't want to give to her to her daughter the upbringing that she had, that her mom was paying more attention into abuses, drug abusing, or changing boyfriends, than actually her actual daughter. So I really loved it. I love their banter. I just wanted more and more. I was like, can we have a sequel for Felicity? But we also have like the other people from the characters, so that was my take on that. Have two more books, two books remaining. So my next book is The Big Game by Casey Connor. And it was a new author for me. I saw it in the bookstore. I took like a picture of the book so I can remember it, but then I decided that I'm not gonna buy it, and then I found it in my Kobo, like in the Kobo web store, and it was quite very much affordable, way cheaper than it was on the bookstore, of course. And I decided, okay, I'm gonna read it. It's one of those palette cleansers book. It is the story of Lily and Tate. Lily and Tate used to date in college, and Tate is a football player, American football, and he has plans of playing on the NFL. After winning their big game, and basically he was scouted, his dad takes him like along with them, like, hey, you know, like you need to focus on football, you need to live like a relationship, like all the yada yada yada. And Tate tells him that, well, you know, that I'm just passing time. And unfortunately Lily hears that, but at the same time she also had a phone call from her family that her dad had like a huge health emergency and she needed to fly back to the UK. Lily is British, and she decides not to tell him anything, and when he calls when she's back in the UK, just gives him like a very an excuse of her family, and then they just like stop talking, and both of them just make their assumptions and they become very angry with each other. Tate goes ahead and becomes like a very big football player. He's called the Don, but 6, 7 or 8 years later they meet again. But Lily, that is a private protection person for high profile people, working on her godfather's company, it is hired to become Tate's private protection, because Tate is getting death threats that he's not taking very seriously, but the owner of the club does. And they hire Lily, and in order to have her 24/7 together with him, they make her look as his fiance. So they go into a close proximity. They manage to air some of their laundry out and stop their assumption, but of course it can be like a little bit hard. Their feelings for each other hasn't stopped, and Tate was devastated when Lily left and without an explanation. Which also reminds me that we shouldn't make assumptions about anything and anyone in this life, and we just like straight up ask if we can or inquire for anything, because assumptions can be a killer. It was a nice palette cleanser. I liked it. Again, like 3.5, like had a nice time reading it. But my last book that I think, I'm gonna be talking a little bit more about it. It's my second 5-star read of 2025 and March, and might be my favorite book so far. That book is Ghost by Dolly Alderton, and I have to say that this came as a recommendation from Alison, Books and Buyo, I think. Yeah, Books and Buyo on Instagram. I will have it up on the screen. And whatever Alison has recommended on her profile and talked about, and then I took a look on the summary and I decided to read it. That happened with Fourth Wing. That happened with the Magnolia Parks series. I had absolutely loved it. So Alison, thank you so much for suggesting great books for me to read, or to your audience, not only me, but I'm part of your audience. I love you. It was just great. It talks about its contemporary fiction, dating and navigating life in your 30s, and it was just very real and very raw. So a lot of the thoughts that the main character, Nina Dean, had, I also found myself thinking about them. Nina is a trained teacher, but she has stopped being a teacher on persuading her passion or professionally for food blogging, and that has led her to have like deals with companies and also to have publishing deals. So she's currently into the process of writing her second book and getting it published. So the book starts on Nina's 32nd birthday, and it ends on when Nina goes like on 33. So she decided to download a dating app called Links for the book and give it a go after she had some time off from ending a very long-standing relationship with her ex-boyfriend Joe, that they still remain friends, and she does find someone, Max, and we go through like navigating how it is like the first days, what you should do, what you shouldn't text, and stuff like that. And the person that actually suggested for her to go into Links was her friend Lola, that is the other perpetual single person. And Nina and Lola are the only single people on their group, and you see how people kind of like deal like with them. Nina has a very good friend from childhood, Catherine, that it is married, she has kids and actually going for the second one, and she's the godmother of the first one. But at some point they have a huge row, and whatever Nina says to Catherine about how Catherine deals with her as a single, non-married, non-committed, no child-free person, it's things that I have also thoughts of how people can deal with me, even though I'm in a long like standing like relationship and stuff like that. So it completely reminds of like what society is expecting like from people, that everybody should follow the norm and you should have done this and that and the other, and life doesn't work like that. It's not for everybody. So I felt very close like with Nina, basically because we have the same age. I'm also going towards 33. So it also deals with the fact of your parents getting older, and how the dynamics change, that you are not the kid anymore, that your parents hold all of the answers to everything, but they actually turn up to you for answers as well, which is quite hard like to navigate. Nina is navigating that through her dad, that is terminally ill. After a stroke, he had a problem with his memory that, if I'm not mistaken, deals with dementia or Alzheimer's, and she's having trouble of like navigating through that, and how her dad that knew everything maybe doesn't anymore remember her, and how her mom might not be accepting like that part. So yeah, or having trouble accepting it. Still loves him very much, but she also wants to have her own life. She doesn't want to be the person like with losing like her partner in a sense. Absolutely love it. Took me some time to read it, but I completely recommend it to anybody, especially maybe at around like on the 30s or people reaching up to their 30s. It has a nice, like I caught myself a lot of thinking about it. But yeah, absolutely loved it. Thank you so much once again, Alison, for this amazing recommendation, and one of my favorites so far into the year. But with that, what I'm currently reading, I'm reading happily Happily Never After by Laine Painter. I have read from her the Mr. Wrong number, and I have seen it all over, I think like all over being recommended, Instagram and TikTok, so I decided like, okay, I will pick it up. Glad that my library had it. And I also have a super huge, this is my, to be read from the library, this is my library haul. I actually picked up these books yesterday. This is some like my hauls that I will be reading up until like May, and this is that it's part of the pocket book thing, so you only have 28 days, so you are not allowed like to renew. So I picked up This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. I have read the other 2 books of the series. Elena Armas, The Fiancé Dilemma. I'm not sure if I like her books. I didn't exactly love the first one that became The Spanish Vacation or something like that, but I would decide to give it another go. Then I found this is non-fiction, like self-help kind of a book from Holly Matthews, The Happy Me Project. And last but not least, Kristin Hanna, The Women. I have read The Four Winds from her, and it was a super nice like literature, so also looking forward to read that. I'm not sure if I will manage, especially these 5. I need to read them before I leave for Greece and maybe take one of those with me for Greece. But yeah, this is everything for the book talk. And let me know what you're actually reading, and if you have any book recommendations. I'm always on the lookout for books. But let's see how I fare with those ones. That was all for the Knitting Podcast number 3, everything that has happened in March in my life. I'm looking forward to see what April is going to be, and finishing up my Rugby Pullover, my Daphnis cardigan, and everything in between, and casting on new things and reading all the books, so I'm quite excited. I will try to maybe film halfway through April to see, have a checkup, but feel free to follow me either on Instagram as That's Evdoxia, or you can also find me on Ravelry and Storygraph as That's Evdoxia as well. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!